Hey Aaron, what's up?
Hey Nick, how's it going, dude?
Going great. It's going great. How's your week been?
Going really good, dude. Really, yeah, feeling good, feeling energized.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, hey man, first off, wanted to thank you very much for taking the time to do this testimonial with me. We got some great results in your first weeks. Your first 6 weeks. Would love to share them with the rest of the people.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, just you were able to drop 11 pounds in 6 weeks, and you feeling pumped. Got some more energy. Just got some questions for you, but I
awesome.
guess first, definitely introduce yourself. Who are you? What are your goals? For the first 6 weeks.
Okay, great. So yeah, my name's Aaron. I work at home, like I'm a freelancer. I'm self-employed, and the place that I'm staying at, basically, we've got lots of lockdowns because of COVID. Or this past year, we've had lots of lockdowns, and the gyms have been closed for like a couple of months. Um, I like to think of myself as a pretty fit person, but honestly, over the past few months, I have taken a bit of a downslide, and just kind of got a bit lazy with the whole thing and eating the foods that make me feel pretty good, but they're not really the best foods. And so yeah, I came to you and I was like, hey Nick, I got to turn this around. I want to get that beach body back, and like I'm just looking to really, yeah, you just change it, turn it all around. So you were there, and you pointed me back in the right direction, and you gave me a bit of a plan where I could kind of do it as well with having no gyms. I had to do it all from my apartment. So yeah, I thought that it was quite a task, but yeah, you gave me a bit of guidance, and it all worked out pretty good in the end.
Yeah, man. Well, you did a fantastic job. Let's kind of dive into that. Definitely kind of the meat of the first 6 weeks. When you first approached me, you thought, you had really expressed that you didn't really feel like home workouts were really going to get you from point A to point B. And when we were really kind of talking about the diet aspect, you were a little bit skeptical about that. And like a lot of the changes that you actually saw with your weight going down had a lot to do with your macronutrients. So when you first started, was that surprising for you?
Yeah, so that was actually really surprising for me. Um, with the diet, so I broke down to you. I said, "This is what I want," and you said, "Okay, cool. So this is the best diet for you." And what we ended up doing was for me to have a low carb and low salt diet. Now, I never realized just how much of an effect water weight would have on my body, and just for like my carb intake and as well as my salt intake. So initially, that diet, it kind of gave me low energy for the first week or so, and
Mm.
I wasn't really doing it correctly. Now I know I had your guidance, but I didn't really grasp the concept of just how much I had to kind of cut the carbs, and I had to make up for it with fat. And so for the first week I had really low energy, and that was kind of the biggest struggle with that part of it. But now I understand a lot more about the nutrition side of things, and yeah, that was the biggest shock. Now I'll just say as well, the thing that got me through that first week was having you there to be like accountable to, as well as to kind of point me in the right direction and go, hey Aaron, this is normal. Okay, you've completely cut carbs. I didn't completely cut carbs. You've lowered your carb intake to a point where your body needs to work out what's going on. And so I think it was day 2 or day 3. I sent you a message and I was like, hey Nick, like I'm really low energy. Like, is this normal? And you said, no, dude, that's all good. It's all part of the process with this diet that we're doing. So yeah. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and definitely we need to be you. And I really appreciated when you were definitely a great client in the fact that you were really you were willing to put in the work, but also you were willing to also work with it and go like, hey, I do need to up my fat a little bit. I do need to look at how I can actually make this work. So that was a fantastic. job on your part. But, after
Okay.
that initial week, you did find that the energy levels not just went back up, but you had said that they had actually increased, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So that first week, because my macros weren't quite uh, correct, as well as my body was getting used to it, my energy levels were pretty average. But then after that, like for the next 5 weeks, I've been feeling great. And like
Oh,
even more so, like I've been feeling more energized. It's kind of a strange one where normally when I eat food and like eat a lot of carbs, I feel like full and you get the full feeling in your stomach. But with this diet or, with this setup that you put me on, it wasn't so much a feeling of fullness, but it was just like I'm satiated, like I don't need any more food and I don't really want any more food. And so it just felt like contented. Um, and it was a strange thing at first, but now I'm like, I don't want to go back to the old way I ate. This is actually like a better way to eat. And so, yeah, man, like it really bounced back after that first week. So it turned around. It was good.
outstanding. And then actually, let's quickly cover the workouts because I don't want to downplay those, but they definitely, you were still able to lose a good bit of weight, but kind of go into what the workouts ended up being for you.
Okay, yeah. So, like I mentioned at the start, I don't have any access to a gym because all the gyms
Hmm.
are closed because of COVID. So, I was just doing home, like in my apartment. This is my home office slash my apartment slash my gym. I was doing everything here. So I've got a pull up bar and I was just doing pull ups, push ups, a couple of body weight squats and like leg raises and crunches. And it really was like, it was 3 times a week. And it was like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes at a time. It really wasn't that much. And honestly, I didn't really do much if any cardio, because like, initially I would have thought, oh, Nick's going to get me doing crazy cardio or something. It was like pretty dead simple, the workouts that you put me on. And so, yeah, it really worked for my schedule as well as, like it just worked, man. It was awesome. So,
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I know you're a pretty busy guy. And so, I was really glad that we were able to put that into practice and, actually get you that change really quickly.
yeah.
Um, Kind of on that note, how did the first 6 weeks kind of change your perspective about nutrition and, working out overall in the process?
Okay. The 6 weeks. Yeah, the biggest one was I didn't really realize how much carbs and salt had an effect on like the water weight that I was carrying, the body fat, and yeah, just like how I look. Now it really is quite obvious to me that eating a lot of like really high carb foods or, like sugary foods, which is,
Yeah.
kind of the same, um, it really is, that's going to have a huge effect on the way that I look and the body fat that I'm going to carry. But also I didn't realize that like the energy levels they fluctuate throughout the day. But when I kind of level things out, then I've got just like a more level energy level and everything's kind of even. If I hope that makes sense.
Oh, I mean, like it makes complete sense. And so, like, just to reiterate, you lost 11 pounds in 6 weeks. How did that go on to motivate you, from the after point where we are right now?
Yeah, so that motivated me a lot. Well, it motivated me a lot because I used to think this stuff was so complicated. And, I've done stuff in the past, like had BCAAs and I've had, supplements and this, that, and like high, lots of workouts and 2 hours in the gym and none of it really worked for me. I'd kind of do this and up and down. But yeah, you broke it down to what are the basics? The basics are eat a simple straight diet. I can have a couple of little snacks here and there, but really it was just like get the diet dialed in and then just be consistent with the workouts. And so the simplicity of it, that's the most motivating aspect for me. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, it was a very outcome based advice that you gave me. Basically, like I said, hey Nick, how do I, get the beach body back? And you said, all right, this is the outcome we're looking for. This is the action you take. Like dead simple, straight line, do it. So yeah, very motivating.
Perfect. Yeah, and again, like you executed fantastically, and you were really serious about it. So I mean, that is where the real changes happen. But so it was definitely. I'm really glad that you actually did listen to all that stuff. Um,
Awesome.
but definitely, especially when we were going into like the first couple days, it was definitely more of a mental challenge for you. So can you go into that just a little bit?
Yeah, the mental aspect of it was a little bit tricky at start because it was all new. It was a new way of eating. Like it wasn't, nothing crazy. It was just like don't eat really high carb foods. Cut out the majority of the salt. And so the first week I had like low energy throughout the week. And there was also the uncertainty aspect of it. So that was like the biggest mental challenge of it was me fully
Hmm.
believing in the diet, I guess, or believing in the path without having seen any results yet. But then after that first week and after the energy levels kind of leveled out, then I saw results, within week two, I'd lost a few pounds. And so it was like, okay, look, I know this works. I'm seeing the results. Like, okay, then it was just smooth sailing from there. But yeah, that first week, it was definitely a lot. It was just a little bit more of a mental game, just to really stick to it without yet seeing any results.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, I know that, yeah, so I get that the first week was really daunting, but w- do you think that this was for you a really hard journey? Like, would you say that like the first step is really hard? And, now that you kind of taken that first step and the first 6 weeks are down, like, how would you kind of describe this first 6 week to somebody?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that it's like daunting. It's different and it's a challenge. Like it's definitely a challenge because it was a challenge for me to eat a different way. Like actually like the actual preparation of the food and like, no, don't put, the really, I don't know, the bad oil or something when I'm cooking a bit of meat, use unsalted butter instead, like just actually like kind of catching up with it myself. So that was the
Yeah.
challenging part. As far as like it being like hard or daunting, um, again, like it's just that first week, it's the different aspects of it, doing things a different way. It was hard in the fact that I had to keep pushing through even when I had no energy. And I was like, hey, Nick, I've got really low energy. And you're like, dude, just keep fighting through it. Like, it's going to get better. Your body's going to get used to it. So that part was hard. Um, but yeah, man, apart from that, like, after that first week was out the way, I was just cruising basically. Like, it really wasn't that bad at all. And then by week 6, I don't actually want to go back to the way I used to eat now. I'm sticking to
Yeah.
probably 90% of the diet that you and me had. I'm adding in a bowl of rice here and there just to add a couple more carbs back into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it's well worth it. That first week, the trouble in the first week was well worth the next 5 and the results I got. So
Yeah, and I mean, like the great thing that you kind of found was that you're still able to incorporate some of those. Like you don't necessarily have to go to extremes to get these results. Like yeah, the first kind of tough, the first part is difficult, but you don't have to go to extremes necessarily the way that some people think that they need to go to extremes. You can still and once you've seen the results, you don't necessarily even want to go back. You just have to make a few, you have to make some changes, but not go to extremes.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I wasn't like starving myself by any,
Yeah.
version of the reality. No, I was full. Like I was satiated at the end of the day, had a full belly, but it was just eating the different foods. So yeah, nothing too extreme about it. And yeah, man, like I said, I think this is a new normal way of eating for me is just the more meat and then plant-based and then a couple of carbs here and there. And then, keep the snack foods to the weekend or the snack foods to the minimal. I'm pretty happy, man. So I think I'll be keeping this for the long run.
Fantastic, man. Well, you did a great job. I'll look forward to working with you more. And you know, this is just the first step. But again, I really appreciate you taking the time to answer some of these questions. I know this kind of stuff could be really valuable to people who are, you know, kind of thinking like, okay, what should I expect in the first like 4 to 6 weeks? So just want to thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. All right.
All
Have
right.
a good day, mate. I'll say goodbye.
You too. Bye.